It's Oscar season again, and while red carpets are being rolled out, we're going to take a look at behind the curtain and see why the movie industry cares so much about these famous gold statues. Because the glitz and glamour is just the face of the business. Behind that, it's about the money, just like every other industry.
The Academy Awards is Hollywood's golden night, but it comes after many days and months of spending green. And all for a statue that costs around $400.
The first thing to look at is just how much the movie industry is organized around award season. If you look at every film that's been nominated for Best Picture this decade, only 8 out of the 71 were released in the first half of the year. And of those, only Get Out and the Grand Budapest Hotel were released before May. This isn't a new trend either. Studios know that they need to aim for the end of the year if they want an Oscar nod, so expect them to plan their releases accordingly. Every Best Picture winner this decade came out in October or November. Historically, November is your best chance for a Best Picture winner, and December is your best chance for a nomination. Obviously, that isn't just short-term memory from the 7,000 Academy members, but since everyone is more likely to remember a recent film, studios just started timing their releases so all their Oscar hopefuls come out at the same time. If a major studio releases a film in February, you can be sure they think it has no hope of an award. So why do they care so much about an Oscar award? Is it simply prestige, or does it make a difference at the box office? It turns out that it matters, but only because studios have learned exactly how to manage Oscar nominations and wins in order to give them the most impact on return. The nomination or win on its own wouldn't have much effect if you just stayed on the release schedule that you had. You need to capitalize on the exposure by opening wider, or if the film is later in its run, keeping it on the screens you already have. Because the real benefit of an Oscar boost isn't the huge jump in audiences the next weekend, although there is some jump for sure, but really it's about increasing the longevity. The Oscar nominations get a huge amount of coverage, and many people who might not have heard much about the movie, either by word of mouth or from the media, will now pay attention to it. A study by economist Randy Nelson in the early 90s looked at movies from 1978 to 1987. He found that an Oscar nomination tended to double the amount of time a movie was in theaters compared to those that weren't nominated. This led to an average $12.7 million boost for the current Best Picture winner and just under $5 million for a nominee. Blogger Edmund Helmer crunched some more recent numbers and said that the Best Picture winner now gets $14 million and a Best Director gains $11 million. These are big numbers. They might be dwarfed by the Disney-owned box office giants like Marvel and Star Wars, but you have to remember that a lot of dramas are made for a fraction of the cost of a blockbuster. Last year's Best Picture, Moonlight, had an estimated budget of $4 million.
There's a mistake. Moonlight, you guys won Best Picture.
Moonlight won. Come on, this is not a joke. This is not a joke. I'm afraid they read the wrong thing.
This is not a joke. Moonlight has won Best Picture. Moonlight, Best Picture.
Moonlight made $16 million before its nomination, $6 million after the nom, and over $5 million after winning. But that was well managed by Studio A24. Before the nomination, it played steadily at 650 theaters. Once it got nominated, they went up to 1,104, and when it won, they played at 1,564 theaters. It's nothing complicated, but studios have a lot of experience getting the balance right. So even the average $5 million gained for a nomination, that's profit. It's not pure profit, of course. The studios are able to plan these release schedules because they aren't just waking up one morning and staring in shock as they read their nomination in Variety. They're already well into the award process by then. Which brings up an interesting point. We've covered what an Oscar can gain, but how much does it cost to win? For studios, there are 3 main aspects of award season. Phase 1 is anything before the Oscar nominations are announced on January 22nd. They can spend what they want to make sure the 7,000 Academy members pay attention to their film. For example, a front page advertisement in The Hollywood Reporter during award season can cost up to $72,000. Studios send out packages with DVDs. There are lavish buffets and screenings and parties. There's also a lot of award ceremonies like the Golden Globes and the British BAFTAs to attend. Then there's Phase 2. After the nominations, there are strict rules in place so no one can be accused of buying an Oscar. This covers emails, free food and drink, and having private events with the stars of the movie. Marketing firms are used to boost a film and no doubt leak a few smear stories on the competition, such as when rumors appeared that Slumdog Millionaire was exploiting child actors. The big stars are also sent to meet and greet as much as possible, and it's in their interest to. A Best Actor or Actress award might not make much difference at the box office, but it will improve the performer's next paycheck. There's still a big gap for actors and actresses though, with men gaining up to $4 million, while for women it's just $500,000. The third aspect is Guild Awards. These don't get a lot of press, but since the Academy members are well connected in the industry, these insider awards carry a lot of weight and can help build momentum behind a film.
Studios spend big to get Oscars. Cost of a newspaper ad, about $72,000. And then there's all these DVD screeners that they send out to the awards voters, and those cost in total about $250,000 for each film. And then on top of that, each movie needs an Oscar consultant. Yep, that's a thing, an Oscar consultant.
In all, a studio could spend $10 million on promoting a movie for the Oscars, but it will only be if the movie's in the right place on its theater run so it can make the most of any win. Want to learn more about business theory and history? Feel free to like and subscribe to be notified of our next segment.